Well, my last video was on tyre wear and the pattern of tyre wear on my car, and I've had a lot of feedback. So I should start off. Somebody did say to me, I need to be careful that I'm not giving wrong information. So look, I'm telling you what I'm doing and the result I'm getting. Don't assume that I'm an expert, because I am not. You know, there are a lot of people around who've got a lot more knowledge than me. But the thing, I guess the value of the video is to at least introduce the subject, what the considerations are, even if what I'm telling you is not perfect. And you might want to refer to someone who has got more experience than me. Anyway, a couple of things, really useful things came out of it. I'm running, my tyre pressures are way too low. That's the consensus. We're running 30 psi. I'm going to try 35 at the front and 37 at the back at the next test. And some people apparently are even running higher rates, pressures than that. But thanks to Matt for, you are Matt. Thanks for pointing that out to me and suggesting those pressures, because I think that's a good starting point for me. Also, the other thing was, tremendously experienced guy said that right-hand rear tyre that's showing virtually nowhere on the outside, the geometry's out on that, and I think he's quite right. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go round and check the camber, because I have got a camber gauge. It's a pretty rudimentary one, but I think it will be good enough. So I'm going to check the camber. I'm seriously debating with myself to buy a stringing kit. They are stupidly expensive. I think they're 550 quid or something like that, which quite honestly for a couple of poles of aluminium and some string just seems mad. But I've looked around and I can't find alternatives. I thought about making one, but I might screw that up and then I'm going to be in a worse position. I am going to have to teach myself how to use it. I know the theory. There's plenty of videos out there that show you the theory. How easy that is to put into practice, I'm not sure, but I think if I'm methodical enough and careful enough, I should be able to string the car. And particularly if I take the stringing kit with me and get someone to show me how they do it. So I'll probably do that. Okay, let's crack on with the camber anyway. Okay, so hopefully you can see that the bubble's just about there. So it's way too much, it's 5 degrees. I need to drop a note in here. It turned out it wasn't -5 degrees. It was actually 4 degrees negative, as we expected. And this is one of the problems with these camber gauges. If you knock them out of line, obviously you get false readings. So after this, what I took to do was use a spirit level against the wall of my garage and get it perfectly vertical. And then I'd use the gauge against the spirit level and check the gauge, and that's what led me to realise that the gauge was actually incorrectly adjusted. It's got a little thumb screw on the bottom, and I don't understand why you'd want to adjust it, but there's obviously a way you can use it where you do use that thumb screw. Anyway, so the front camber was -4 degrees. The experienced guy I spoke to this morning, he said to me that many cars don't run that amount. They don't run the -4 anymore. They started off with that, but gradually the cars have evolved. Well, maybe I should run -4 to see how I get on, as that's where everybody starts, and that's a sort of baseline. So, well, at least they're consistent. So that one's -5 as well. You can see the bubble just about there. So yeah, we're definitely going to have to adjust that out a bit and bring those a bit more vertical. Okay, now it's going to be interesting to look at the back, because the suspicion is that the back, the rear right hand side, has got way too much camber on it. So let's go and actually I'll do the rear left first, so that gives us what may be a baseline. Well, that's more than I was expecting. That's I think there's 3.5. Let me just check. Yeah, about 3 1/3 actually. Yeah, wow, that's quite a lot of rear camber. Okay, let's go and check the rear right-hand side. Well, that's slightly bizarre because that's slightly under 3, whereas we thought this side would have more negative camber than the left-hand side of the car. In fact, it's got very slightly less. It's still got more, I think it's got more negative camber than we ideally want. I think I'm going to try and see if I can find out what other people run in terms of negative camber on the rear. The experienced guy I'd spoken to had suggested that absolute maximum negative camber on the back is 1 3/4 degrees. But there are lots of people who are running different, running more negative camber than that. I'm sure there are some using less. I decided that I was going to run -2 initially because I'm making a lot of changes. I'm changing tyre pressures and whatnot. So I don't want to make so many changes that the thing goes completely wild on me. So I'm going to do it gradually. And if I need to reduce the negative camber further because, I detect the heat of the tyres is not even, then I'll do that. So that should work well.